how to connect two changeover switch to your NEPA, generator, and inverter. If you, as an engineer, if you want to install your changeover for your solar system, for your either for your client or for your personal use, what you need to do, the first thing you need to do is to check the existing changeover, the changeover your client is using. If your client is using one changeover, that means the changeover is meant for the NEPA supply or grid supply and the generator supply. Now, what you need to do is to check which part is for NEPA and which part is for generator. Like in this diagram now, my NEPA light is supplying to this up and my generator is supplying to this down. What you need to do is to check which one is positive, which one is negative. The positive will be connected to the positive terminal. Likewise, the negative will be connected to the negative terminal. Likewise, for your generator, the positive will be connected to the positive terminal and the negative will be connected to the negative terminal. Now, this is what you are going to do. Once you know these two, once you know the NEPA supply and you know the generator part, the output, remember the output of this changeover, this one changeover, the output of this, when you first get that, the output of this will go to this load straight. The output of this first changeover will go to the load. As you check, during your checking, you will notice that the output of this single changeover, that is the first changeover that your client is using, the existing changeover, the output of it will go to the load. Now, what you need to do is to remove the output of this changeover. If you remove the output of this changeover, what you need to do is to bring it to the new changeover. You disconnect it from the load. Once you disconnect it from the load, once you disconnect it from the load, you connect it to your new existing changeover. Either you put it at the up or you put it at the down. That is the second changeover you want to install for your client, for their solar system or for their inverter backup system. Now, once you connect it to the either to below, it becomes NEPA or generator. That is, you want to switch between these two to supply to this place, to this changeover here. Now, your inverter output will be connected to your second changeover. That is maybe the upper part, if you are using the upper part or if you are using the lower part. Like in this diagram now, it is connected to the upper part here. Now, the output of the inverter is connected to the second changeover. Remember, this is the first changeover from the that you met at the client house. What if the first thing you do is that you disconnect the output from the load, then you connect it to your own changeover. Once you connect it to your own changeover, the output of your inverter will be connected to the upper part, or if you are using the below part, that's not a problem. Now you are going to connect it to your upper part, the positive to the positive terminal, the negative to the negative terminal. Then the output of this new changeover that you just installed will now be the one to supply to your load. It will be the one to supply to your load, that is to the client load. Now, once the output of this new changeover is supplied to the load, now this is what is happening. If your client wants to use the inverter to power his or her load, what he needs to do is to take the changeover up, is to switch the changeover up of this second part. That is using inverter. Now, if your client decided that, okay, I want to use NEPA light only, I don't want to use my inverter, I don't want to use generator, I want to use my inverter, I don't want to use my inverter, I don't want to use my generator, but I want to use only NEPA light. What he needs to do is to take the changeover up here and bring this one down. Remember, we have put NEPA or generator here and bring it down. Then NEPA light will be supplied to the load immediately. If your client decided that, okay, I want to use generator only, maybe during rainy season, there is no NEPA light and the inverter is not charging there because there is no sunlight, but your client wants to use generator, what he needs to do is to bring this changeover downward and keep this second changeover as well to down. But if your client wants to use the inverter system, what he needs to do is to take this one up. This might be at neutral, this might be at up, this might be down. It doesn't affect the system. But if you want to use the inverter, the changeover must go up here. If you want to use NEPA or generator, this changeover must come down, and either of the two that you want to use must go to the right direction. If you are using the NEPA light, you take it up. If you are using the generator, you bring it down. This is how to connect two changeovers during installation of solar system to serve for NEPA, generator, and inverter. Don't forget to like, share, and comment below. Thank you.